Welcome back to Real Estate with Mariah and Spence. Today we will be sharing 5 things that you need to know if you're going to be putting your home on the market this year, 2022. And a lot of these will still apply if you're watching this later on into the future. And then at the very end, we will be sharing a little bit of a somewhat important, I would say it's a pretty important update on what's going on in the real estate market, the very quickly ever-changing real estate market, and that's pretty important for sellers to know as well as buyers. So be sure to stay tuned until the end. You're not going to want to miss it.
This is an awesome show today because this is also relevant. What are we doing here in a real estate market where we have possible economic collapses happening all around us? I'm just kidding. None of that's really happening, but there is some type of recession talk, and we really need to educate ourselves and just support you guys as our sellers and buyers. Working both sides of transactions. We need to be as transparent as possible and open to conversations of maybe your concerns, your doubts, efforts made that you're putting in, because when we spend money on our homes, our real estate that we're looking to sell, odds are you're spending hundreds, sometimes thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And this is money that you can get back. And that's why it's very, very important to take advantage of markets like the one we're currently in. We don't know how much longer it's going to last. This is not a doomsday message, but this is sincerely, hey, we need to be educated if you are serious about wanting or looking to sell, to know the actual updated value of your property. These things, don't let the parade go by, is what I have to say.
And just what to expect. I think this is really important to know what to expect right now as a home seller. And I feel like we've been talking lately a lot on the show about the real estate market, but there's just so much to say every week, because it's just changing so quickly. Like
every week
it's
something
changing
new happens.
a lot. So with all of that being said, before we get into these 5 things you need to know as a seller, if you are someone that is a property owner here in Oregon and you are curious about your property's value, you want to sell, you have questions about the selling process, any of that, we'd love to help you out. I will put our contact information in the description below. We are both licensed realtors here in Oregon, and we're a husband and wife real estate team. Okay, so number 1. So this is something you need to know up front, or that we need to know up front when we're going to go in and list your home. A lot of sellers don't necessarily know this. Who is on title? If someone else's name is on title besides you, the one that we're doing the communicating with, then they're going to need to be there to sign the listing agreement for us to even be able to list it. And then of course, for closing as well, I know I just closed a transaction with a group of family members. There was a good handful of ladies. It was a group who were all, because it was an estate situation. So they were all splitting the proceeds, and they all needed to sign. They all needed to be there at closing. And so that's just something not, it's kind of a random thing to share, but it's something that I've found a lot of sellers aren't aware of up front. So
totally,
we got to know who's on title.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I mean, these are contracts. This is paperwork, especially if we're going in to list a home on that listing presentation. Sometimes I come in with a hard copy and I fill it all out and I'll scan it to you digitally for you to sign. But sometimes you guys don't work through an email or want to sign through DocuSign. So realize all parties of the home's owner, so the ownership, the title, whoever's name is on title deed, is they need to be present or at least informed and aware, so we can actually send them out the correct documentation to sign later on.
Yes. Okay, number 2, you as the seller need to know what your mortgage payoff is. It is important for you to know what you owe on your home going into the selling process. I don't necessarily need to know those numbers in every circumstance, but you yourself as the homeowner should have an idea of this in mind going into things.
And this is something I do, and I make it very simple for my sellers, because in order to sell, you need to know your profits. You need to know your losses. You need to know your gains. I actually make you a seller's net sheet, and I just contact my title team. We get a seller's net sheet. All I need to know, how much you currently own the property, what's the list price, which you and I have probably already discussed, our rate of commission through the sale, And that's really it. And I always throw in an estimated seller's closing costs as well. So you're actually getting factual numbers based off of our list price, what you're going to walk away with in about 45 days through escrow.
Okay, number 3 is let's talk about the American Home Shield home warranty. So this is something, yes, that is unique to our company. We are with Berkshire Hathaway. So something that we provide to our sellers, if you would like, is we will give you basically it's a free home warranty during the duration that your home is listed. So beginning, the first date that your home's listed until when your home's not on the market with us anymore. So during this time, you don't pay anything for this ever. You only pay if you use it. So basically, if you decide to use it, if something stops working, the AC, the water heater stops working, then American Home Shield will come out and they will either repair or replace depending on what's needed, and you just pay the deductible that you would be paying if you were paying for the warranty yourself.
That is the only money out of pocket, and it's the deductible. Okay, yes. You're not paying for a full year once you do need to use it. You are only, as the seller, paying for the deductible.
And it's the
Some
same.
people get confused with that.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted to add, it's the same deductible that you would be paying if you were, purchasing the home warranty yourself. Yeah. So that's just a little cool, unique thing that.
Have you ever had a deal be saved because of this home warranty?
I have actually.
Same.
So I've had sellers choose to use this during the inspection period. So some things came up, and the buyers were asking the seller to repair or fix this or lower the price, to contribute to it, one of those things. And the sellers used American Home Shield home warranty. It saved the day. So
Seriously,
this could really be a deal breaker for you.
It saved the day, and it saved you lots of money.
Yes.
Which ultimately that is our jobs to do. That's why you hired us to represent you guys. So use the resources around you, and a beautiful, beautiful brand like Berkshire Hathaway. The reason we're able to provide a free home warranty with every listing, it's because we are partnered. We're partnered with these awesome companies, and those low brand, those smaller named companies, they just don't have the budgets or the funds to do things like this. And this is just a free service and resource that you guys get to use.
Yes, so sellers take advantage. Okay, so number 4, when we accept an offer on your home, we will open escrow with a title company here in our area. This might seem obvious to some people, but working with so many home sellers over the years, I've come across a good amount of times where sellers have asked, like, do we need to close with a title company? And I know there's other states where things are done differently and you don't need to, but here in Oregon, once we accept an offer, even if it is a cash offer, we got to go through the title company. And if it's a cash offer, we can still wrap things up there pretty quickly, but we do need to go through the title company and open escrow with them in all cases.
Yeah. And for us, we've partnered with an agent here locally through Tycor Title, and she does amazing work for us. We're very happy with all their services and resources. And there's a reason we keep her on our team. She's absolutely the best and gets things done in a timely manner, and her response times are just unmatched.
Yes, and who you open escrow with can make a difference.
It does.
I just had a transaction. I won't say the company because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus here, but the title company, we didn't choose them. The other party insisted on using them, and we could not get a hold of them for so long. Like, they would not respond, like very unresponsive, long response times, just not what we're used to because we're used to working with such a great title company. So sometimes you got to use who you got to use to get the deal done and to make both parties happy and to meet in the middle. But we have a great title company that we always push for and advocate to work with.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5, a big question we get from sellers is, once an offer is accepted on my house, how long do I have to get out of the home and move out? So closing is generally going to be around 30 to 40 days right now. If you have a cash offer, of course, you could close in a couple weeks or maybe even less, but that's usually not the case. Most often, sellers will have possession of the home until 5:00 p.m. on the day we officially close. However, that is negotiable in the contract. So if you already know up front that you're going to need extra time to get out of the home after we close, then we need to tell the buyer's that up front. We can even write that in the listing. A lot of agents will do that in the listing. So any buyer that sees the home knows, okay, I need to write this into the offer that they have, 3 days after closing to get out of the home or whatever that time is that you're needing.
Here's a recommendation from me as a broker. And that's just communicate with your broker prematurely rather than later. You want to go sooner rather than later. And usually you want to get all the open air, the conversations, your expectations as a seller all out there to us during our appointment. If you forget, give us a call. We write it down because we're working for you. We're trying to create an experience for you to be able to just focus on moving out, and we take care of the rest for you. We find you the best qualified buyer. We get money in your pocket and you're on to your next purchase, maybe even through us. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that if you have some expectation, lay it out. Let us know.
Totally.
And it's our jobs to perform and make it happen.
And what you said something about the earlier in the transaction, the better. The only times I can really think of that the buyers have been upset about or not wanting to give the seller any extra time after closing is when it was just thrown on them last minute and they didn't know, they weren't preparing for it. They were expecting to get into the house like right away. So that is very important. The sooner we know all of these details, the better.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have just this little update that it's kind of a chunk, but I'm going to read it because I do think it's important. So stay with me here.
Okay.
And then we can add, whatever you feel like adding to this. So, okay. Rates are applying the brakes to appreciation. The 2-year explosion in home price appears to be cooling just a bit. Black Knight says annual appreciation was down in May for the second straight month. The company in its May mortgage monitor notes that annual price growth lowered from 20.4% in April to 19.3% in May. That was the largest correction in a single month since 2006. However, it did still leave prices up 1.5% from April to May. So prices have gone up still, despite all of that. While any talk of home values in 2006 might set off alarm bells for some, the truth is that price gains would need to see, they need to lower at this rate for more than 12 months straight just to get us back to a normal 3 to 5% annual growth rate because it's been so insane. One of the principal drivers of home prices since even before the pandemic has been the lack of homes for sale. There is some hope on that front. May saw the largest jump in housing inventory in the past 5 years. Still, inventory remains at a 60% low than what would be a good market. So that's just a little.
That's assuring though, and here's why.
Of what's going on.
We talked about it maybe 3 weeks ago. What's actually going to happen, predictions, or maybe I even just heard this from another podcast. There's going to be 3 things that happen. Keep it simple, guys.
Like 3 options?
3 options.
Okay.
House prices go up. House prices stay the same. House prices decrease.
Super simple.
Super simple. My prediction is it's going to kind of stay stagnant. Okay, it's gonna stay. It's gonna float. We're gonna level off, and this is our new normal. I think I said this 2 years ago. Guys, prepare yourselves. I think this might be our new normal because of inflation and just the global economy. Money is not the same as it was yesterday. I think money's harder to get right now just because of the banks and the financial institutions. They're raising rates. Feds are a little concerned. But with there being talks and hearsay of a recession, this could actually be in your benefit. I've heard it both ways, though. When it comes to lenders, it's funny. I get stories because I always like to call around, and I just get my people calling me, checking in, and trying to get more business too. But I always ask them. I said, "Hey, what's going on? What should I be informing my clients on?" Because in a way, they're kind of like a financial advisor too. I mean, they're working with money numbers.
They're seeing
and
so
they
much.
see what
they know
real
what's going
employment
on.
looks like, through their clients. And he says, "Well, refis are done for the most part, so that's cut a huge chunk of their business." Which, by the way, I think is throwing off their statistics when it comes to the lending industry. And now they're just going off as straight purchases. They're by far getting less business because of all the refinances that are not happening. currently. So those are going to throw off some numbers, and here in about 3-4 months, we'll really be showing these, and we're starting to show them right now. And that's why you're getting a lot of lenders getting frenzied and kind of concerned, because the business for them wasn't what they're used to. So that cuts a huge chunk of this real estate market, and it provides opportunity though, because with the recession possibly coming, there's hearsay of interest rates going down. So there's all sorts of scenarios we can drive ourselves into. Should you wait to buy? Should you buy now? I think it's going to remain the same, stagnant, and if anything, decrease slightly.
I agree. I think that's what's going to happen as well. And the thing is, where this is a win for you as a home buyer is that although prices have still gone up and they are still going up, they're not going up as high. But where this is a win for you guys, I mean, they're not going up as quickly is what I meant to say. But where this is really a win for you as a buyer is we are getting offers accepted. Yeah. This is very, very recent, because 3 weeks ago I was writing offers, very significantly over asking just to get accepted.
Know what to do.
Weeks ago. But very, very recently, we are getting offers accepted in certain price points. Keep in mind, certain price points at ask price, which is, that might not sound like a win to you, like, oh, it was just ask price. But for years now, it's been a couple years that ask price, we don't see that. Everything's like way over asking. So the lack of competition, that's where it's a win for you as a buyer. It's just easier to get into a home because you don't have to deal with writing 20 offers, 50,000 over asking and waiving the appraisal. Like, that was tough for buyers. And now I'm like so grateful for my buyers because, and of course, keep in mind, like I said, price ranges differ, but for a lot of the price points we're working in, the competition is just way less. And even though prices aren't going up as much, getting an offer accepted at full ask price without having to fight like you used to is a win in my book.
Well, it's unbelievable because what we're able to do for our sellers here in the Mid-Willamette Valley, bringing them out-of-state clients even. For instance, I just had some awesome clients. We got to meet up for the first time this last week. We're already through our inspections and repair addendums are done. We're through into the appraisal process in a matter of 6 days. So they're motivated, but what I'm trying to say is we're able to bring you guys out-of-state clients, and they flew. We had three homes on the list. They had their number one already chose, so I said we should submit an offer before somebody else does. So we did. We got an accepted offer. We competed against one other, but we got an accepted offer at sales price. So that other offer must not have been that great. And now, by the way, we're getting closing costs paid for. So ultimately, one happy client, I'm one happy agent because of us being able to time the market in a sense for our clients on both ends, whether it's the seller or the buyer. And we're just trying to place you guys in the best opportunity and positions to make great deals. Right.
And also to add about all of this talk about the real estate market. So yesterday I was listening to, because I'm always wanting to just be as educated as I can be about the real estate market and listen to as many different sources and read as many different things as I can besides just what I'm seeing myself. Because of course different markets differ. But I was listening to yesterday a real estate agent who was saying in a podcast that the market is about to crash. We're going to see the biggest recession we've ever seen. But then there's another real estate agent that I also listen to who's very, she sells a ton of homes in our area, very like respectable agent, knows what she's doing, been in the business a very long time, who is on the complete opposite end that we are not heading into a recession and things are, like you were saying, like prices are going to just level out or keep going up just slower. This is not turning into that. And so what I'm trying to say is two very respectable people that know what they're doing and are leaders in our industry, and they're saying two complete opposite things. So we really just, you can't time the market. That's so tough. What I say is, okay, how long are you going to live in the home? Are you going to live there? I've said this before, but are you going to live there for, say if you live there for 5 years, is that going to be okay with you? Because if your home is worth nothing tomorrow, as long as you can make that payment, you still have somewhere to live. Mm-hmm. And over time, we know from history, homes sold in the 70s for like $7,000. We're never going to have a home for $7,000. Like over time, they're going to keep going up. So if it's okay to just keep living there for a little bit, then in my book, you're not losing at all. Like that's why I feel so comfortable buying right now. So
yeah. And rentals are at an all-time high.
Yes.
Everybody needs a roof over their head.
Yes.
There's a reason we see apartment complexes going up left and right, and big commercial buildings. It's just the building is happening around us in Salem. Does that feel like a recession to you? I go downtown Salem. I go to a restaurant, and everything's full. There's so many cars in the parking lot. I can barely find a room. I'm kind of beside myself because we're living in a day and age to where, like you said, one agent says another and the other says another. It's like, who do you know who to trust? It's not really about trust. I think it's more about personal opinion and personal manner. What's best for you is what's best for you. Right. Don't judge what you're doing based off of other people's lives or even another state. Right. Because clearly we live in Oregon. We're not in Delaware or Ohio. Right. We have completely different views. Ultimately true, we do on the West Coast. Yeah. But markets are just completely different. Housing markets, yes, we are more expensive here. And we've been proving that over the last 10, 12 years is how expensive Oregon has begun to raise when it comes to property taxes and just real property. So yes, this inflation thing, it's a real gamble. But ultimately, I think when it comes to the housing market, we're still running very, very strong, whether you are a seller or a buyer. Because
that I was reading from that article, the thing is, because we are so low on inventory, and we have been so low on inventory, and appreciation has gone up so much over the last couple of years, just to get back to a normal market, not even a recession, a normal even market, we're gonna have to see 12 months straight of that, what we were talking about. So right. that's just a full year. It's a lot of factors going into things, and so that's all I have to say. Just don't make any decisions either to buy or not to buy out of fear. Make them out of, if the numbers make sense for you and you're comfortable with your payment and you like the house and it's what's best for you and your family right now, that's, in my opinion, how you should make a decision to buy a house.
Yeah, 100%.
Not to.
100%. Yeah. Because there are times where don't buy a house.
Yeah, totally. If it's not best for you, then it's not best for you right now. And I never want anyone to feel pressured or like they have to buy right now. So,
well, I think that's today's show. Yes. If we have not gotten to this point yet, thank you for listening throughout this whole video, and make sure to press that subscribe button. We could not be here without you. And as always, if you know anybody looking to buy, sell here in Oregon, please give us a shout out, give us a comment below. We're happy to reach out to them and provide them with any real estate services needed, whether it's just a question or an actual transaction.
Yes. All right. We'll see you guys next week.